All right. Okay, you guys. I think we're good. In hindsight, though, the and I didn't even think about this until just now restarting this stream. When I started that stream, it took forever. The last thing I do before the stream actually starts is on YouTube because it goes through OBS. But on YouTube, I have to click go live. Then YouTube takes its time to get everything set up and get the stream going. It took a lot longer than usual. So I think that one had a shitty connection. Hi. Right, right from the get-go. Doing good, Callum. Now wait, before we get started into any questions or anything, I've got the blank background here. Anyway, what do you, I have no idea why it happened, Jill. No idea. What do you guys want for a background? Do you want me to quick make a picture with you guys' suggestions on AI to put for a backdrop? You guys can tell me whatever.
Stream was an experience.
It was, yeah. An experience is a nice way of putting it, Sonic. That's too bad. What I'm going to have to do, if the game is causing part of it, I'm going to have to break out the new mini PC and play on there. Because I'm hoping we're not getting back to having issues with playing the game again. So what I was going to say is, if you want, I'll open the page with the, let's see, with the AI generator. Where is it? All right, here. You guys tell me what you want me to put into the image generator. This is for a background picture for this stream. Let's make some suggestions, and I'll put it in, and and then I'll post the background. So we're gonna want 16:9 image, and now you guys tell me what it should be of. Chuckles the Clown, because he had it coming. Gordon Ramsay picking his nose. Harry Potter. Well, it can't be the AI I use. I don't think will make anything that's copywritten.
It's been a real honor, homie. But I gotta move forward in my life. It seems like all I do is let people tell me what to do, and I do it, and nothing changed.
I got you, Franklin. I understand. Do a manly Patrick Star with heels. Yeah, but we're trying to think of a whole background, guys. It's going to be a whole background to the thing. Sonic Boom. See, I'll put those in, but I don't think it'll do anything that's copywritten. A Sonic Boom style background. Let me see if it'll do it. Yes. All right, let's see what it gives us. Hey, Jiggy, good to see you. Jeff? Maybe it'll give us Sonic 2. That's what the world wants. Oh, that's not Sonic-like at all.
Nobody would
What the
be
hell?
crazy enough to build a boat out of glass.
That's good stuff. All right, let me put this as my. I'll show you what it created for us. I'll put it as my background. It's kind of weird. All right, let's add an image. All right. Okay, there's what it came up with for a Sonic style background image. I'm not sure how Sonic-y that is. But we can leave it there. That's good. You guys like it? All right. Okay, then we'll stay with it. Yeah, Big Green says, "Ow, my eyes." Yeah, it's kind of Sonic, I guess, in a way. Cool colors, I'll give it that. In a Spaz Boys vortex, yeah, it kind of does, Brandon. Well, we'll have to now. The next gaming stream, we've had. That's the thing that bothers me about that one going bad, though, is the issues we've had prior with GTA 5 playing on my PC. I'm hoping we're not going to start getting those issues again. But I will tell you, as soon as I restarted, it was fine again. Michael was walking around fine and everything. I don't know. What do you
Sorry,
guys?
did I break the fabric of time and space again? I'll try and fix it, I guess.
Please, if you would. We would definitely appreciate it. Now, shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, what would you guys rather see tomorrow? Schedule 1 or Oblivion? Like seeing what the Flash sees when he goes fast. Yeah, that kind of is look fun. So, either way, Big Green, gotcha. Big Brother Green, he lives an hour from me. He won't be in any. I mean, he pops in once in a while. Like he's here on the weekends. If I'm streaming, he'll pop in and say hi to everybody. Waffles here. Planning on watching any Neurosama content in the future. It was a really cool video about a month ago showing her history and features pretty much all moments you haven't seen. There hasn't been a lot of interest for it anymore, for whatever reason. Oh shit! Speaking of videos, I got to post. For whatever reason. Oh, and today you guys here might get enjoyment out of this.
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Notice me. I posted since we had talked about it. Remember we in one of the streams we had been talking about getting over it, the game, and I said how it makes me rage quit. Several people contacted me and said, "Well, I want to see you play it." So I played that for the channel here. I played it for 16, 17 minutes, and then I'd had enough. I've gotten where I hate that game. And it's funny how now, I never used to really rage quit on games, but now it happens rather easily. I must be just getting old and crotchety. Schedule 1, then more Oblivion? All right, well, yeah, we should catch up on Schedule 1. I want to catch the scumbags who blew up my RV. I gotta get back in there and find out who did that. Hey, Jeff Fire, good to see you. I've enjoyed any of the reaction streams a while. Posted videos for reaction streams. Life has been busy. No, I understand, my friend. Glad you could pop in. Glad you could be here for a little bit. I thought we might get an odd Sonic 2 Doom, but it just went with lightning, basically. Schedule 1 is short, is it? I hadn't even really known how long a game that one is, Jill. I figured it couldn't be too awful long. Am I seeing? Holy shit! Am I seeing hiccups on this stream too? The fuck, YouTube? Again, when they say they're not getting enough content sent to them, they're full of shit. Because it's easy enough for me to do a speed test and see how quickly I'm connected, and it's lightning. Yeah, I know some of the chat music videos. I hate myself for laughing at them, and I can't help it. He said crotch. Yeah. What shampoo and conditioner do you use for your newfound hair? I don't even know. Going nowhere. It's I can picture the bottle. It's a shampoo and conditioner all in one. I don't have. I never even when I was younger. My hair, you throw some shampoo in it in the morning. You comb it down, and I'm done with it. I'm not a hair freak. Is it Was it Nivea?
Clearly, this is referencing my movie powers. This isn't just random bullshit because it didn't know what to do with that prompt.
Truth. Truth. Excuse me. But I just went through Walmart and I saw one that said this shampoo is for shampoo and conditioner for men, and I bought it. Smelled okay. The color, the bottle is like a dark green. I think it's Nivea. I think it is. Look like you're in the oil business, yeah, Kobe. The worst part about it is, I don't have good hair, and by that I mean it's coarse. It doesn't sit well. So every morning, just so it doesn't look entirely freaky, I have to soak it all down, wet it down to get it to sit down because the sides are still monstrously thick like they always were.
And conditioner Gordon.
Batman shampoo and conditioner Gordon. At least nobody said it's samurai shampoo, because I love samurai shampoo. It's coarse and rough and it gets everywhere. Yeah, Chrome, it's not good stuff here. It really isn't. And I can't stand putting, products into it, and I don't have the patience for it. So I just, every morning I have to soak it down just to get it to settle. Let's see. The Blue Star says, Curtis getting younger again. Yeah, I wish. Growing the bush and raging in some video games. Good to see you. Good to see you too, my friend. Oh, Garnier. Garnier, or however they pronounce it. I did see that look fun. I remember seeing that when I was looking through them. Mario Kart, Metroid Prime 4 look amazing. It is tempting to want to buy that system. I can't stand pudding. My hairline isn't back all that far. It always was about here. It's just it grows in way thinner on top now. Used to be my hair was as thick as it is on the sides all over. Now it's growing it, but the thing is it's still growing. So one of the only reasons I haven't shaved it off is I was curious to see what its eventuality would be, what it would look like, and it's still growing in. You wanted to get Deltarune? I don't know what Deltarune is. I bet it would be weird if you shave again. No, it's still, to be honest with you though, gaming, I had been shaving it for 27 years. So it's honestly still weird having hair. I think if I were to shave it like right now, I think I would just snap right back to it because I'm just so familiar with that. Bald Curtis got bald Randy Orton energy. Oh, the next game of Undertale. Gotcha. All right. Gotcha. Jill says, I've been dyeing my hair with 6 different colors. It just doesn't suit and cost me almost $2,000. Wow. So I stick with my normal brown hair. Wow, that's pricey. Wow. And a lot of times the natural look is even more appealing anyway, Jill. I mean, just my opinion. I tend to like a natural look on women. Brandon says, have more hair, and when you hit 1 million subs, wax strip it off. We're never going to hit 1 million subs, not on this channel. YouTube gives nothing to this channel. So the sub count typically in a given month will go down, not up. Gallifrey says, I'm back to the feds leave. See, I'm watching on my studio here, and this stream is glitching too. This is entirely YouTube. True. Look Fun says if you shave it, you don't have to pay for haircuts or hair products, right? And believe it or not, when I shave my head, the expensive razors, disposables or otherwise, don't work well. I have to buy these super cheap little blue ones that you get at Walmart, and they do it perfect. So I would shave typically every other day, and I can buy a package of 12 of those razors for like $1.29. So it was never expensive having the bald head. We're hitting 13 billion 1,000 subs in 2025. Yeah, I tried the Mach 3 Metville. I didn't like how it worked on my head. On my face, it was fine. Worked really good on my face. But on my head, no, it just didn't cut it clean at all. Chrome says also Donkey Kong is getting a new game. I think you'd like it. Fully destructible terrain, smash everything. Big fan of smash everything. Well, you guys know that. I like smashing shit. David says you should play Path of Exile if you're into action RPG. Well, right now we got quite a list coming up because we're still getting through Oblivion and hopefully GTA 5 and Schedule 1. And then after Oblivion, I really want to play say it for me, guys. Again, blanking out on a name again. And it's completely gone this time too. The game we're gonna play, the one that follows right after after Oblivion. You guys told me to play that one next. The one Brax used to play. I used to watch him. Skyrim, thank you. Then Skyrim. Then after that, I want to play some of the Arkham games. So we got a lot on the lineup. Plus, now that I'm back into gaming again, I'm constantly seeing games that I like and stuff. I haven't decided on Night or Asylum yet. Still got to figure that out. Which one I'm going to play. But yeah, it was an experience playing. Getting over it again. I just hate that game. I really do. You know what though? If you guys get a chance, because that video just posted here at Spaz Boys, if you have another game you think that'll make me rage quit, post it in there because I might post those for videos. It was never fun to do that in prior years because I was never one big for rage quitting. And as I told you, just like why I can't play chess anymore or Texas Hold'em anymore, I don't have any patience. So certain games that's it. I just snap and I can't play it. So has anyone been like, oh, you game? I know my mom is 70 and still plays, and people are like, why? Oh, I get questioned all the time, Metville. I don't know any people in my age category. Well, I know a couple that do some gaming. Not as into it as most of us are. I know none of them that are into anime. I get that all the time when I wear my anime shirts. And it's anyone in my generation. It's like, well, who is that? And they try and figure it out, and they talk about old TV shows or this, that, or the other. It's like, no, you don't.
Okay.
Shut up.
We can spam this voice in Arkham.
Oh, that's true, too. I didn't even think about that. You're right, Big Green. That'd be that's built right in. That'll be fun. Pawn to E4. Yeah, I used to be pretty good at chess. I can't even play it anymore.
Other Tenga Joker interactions.
Yeah, that's true. Those will be fun during that. Well, you guys have gotten the Oblivion things. Mainly Jill. Jill's posted a lot of Oblivion stuff for us to use on Tangia. It does make it a lot of fun. I'm enjoying that game to no end. I'm really concerned. I'll be anxious to get to GTA 5 again. I'm wondering if, but why? As I said, I was wondering if the speed of the chase was screwing up my PC, but A, it should be plenty fast enough to do it, and B, we just had a long chase, remember? Was it a couple of gameplays ago we did a mission, the last one, where we had to run away in the Amanda mission, so I don't know what the hell it was. You know what else I think? I played Cuphead, Zuchen, very, very briefly a long time ago. I don't even remember anything about it. But what other game is the type that might make me rage quit? I was thinking is that Surgeon Simulator. I could see that pissing me off. And then on the other side of the coin, it's weird because now we're playing the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I've had several spots in there that were really difficult to get by, and they didn't piss me off at all. I actually had fun playing them. So it's got to be a certain, I don't know, it's like a certain style game that just irritates me. Oh, Quap. That's a good example, Jill. Quap I played and enjoyed, and the last time I played it, it wasn't on a stream. I was just piddling around. That one made me basically rage. I didn't get into a rage. I just stopped because I knew I was about to. I used to like that game. Find a rhythm game. Could be funny with the timing thing. Happy Wheels is fun. Oh, I don't know the Blue Star. We used to play Happy Wheels all the time. I'd have to check. The reason I stopped playing Happy Wheels on the channel was YouTube was giving everybody fits about it. They were giving you strikes for it because it was so gory and everything. But that was during one of YouTube's many little points in time where somebody must have complained about something. Somebody got their fifis hurt, and they were coming down on everybody for things. And then they back off. You get a notification. Well, we've updated our terms of service on this and on that. So I don't know where they stand on it. Unfair Mario? I'm not familiar with that one, Matt Bell. Oh, that was funny. That Dos Negros, yeah, Key and Peele, that was a funny one. I think that's fair, Big Green. He says there's a difference between rage games and games that are simply hard. True. Hell, Spyro isn't even that hard. It just has moments that are tough. Right. Agreed. And yeah, that's a good point. That's well put, because I think you're 100% right. Because in Spyro, there were well, you guys watched, there were several times that it got really tough, but it was always fun. And now I played Getting Over It, and how long is that video? Tell you how long it took me, and I was done. It's like I can't play this anymore. It's 17 minutes 49 seconds, and there was an intro in there, so I probably played for about 17 minutes, and that was it. That's all I was. It's like, nope, no more. Unfair Mario, you like jump and the map moves and you die. Oh, that would piss me off. Matt Val, if you think of it, because that's where I'm going to go for reference points for rage games. If you think of it, go to that video I posted today and just post that in the comment section there. YouTube was on another, 12 years ago. YouTube was so cool. World's Hardest Game? Is that actually, are you talking about a game, or is that actually the name of a game? No, Dark Souls, I played some Tosspot and I loved it. It's funny you say that one boss would do you in. It's really funny you say that, because while we were playing Dark Souls, it was sponsored for a little while. I think it was Dark Souls 3. I kept remarking how I was surprised that I wasn't getting frustrated. I actually liked it. It took me forever to get through it, but I liked those fights. But a fighting game is less likely to make me rage quit, because I like fighting. So if I can see where you have to play it strategically and then it's just a matter of making my dead ass brain do it, I'll have fun with that. And I think that's what it was with Dark Souls. It was like, okay, I had to figure out how to get in, hit them, move back. I remember that I had to figure out how to do the flying leap to get out of the way of the boss's swing and everything. So that I actually enjoyed that a lot. You posted, okay, thanks, Matt Val. Because when I look for more rage quit games to try, that's where I'll go to reference them. Dark Souls 3, it was 3, Jill? I thought so. And you remember that one, Jill? I had fun with that. I liked fighting those bosses. That was a fun game. I wouldn't mind going back to that someday. I could try a Sonic game. I haven't played one, Chrome, since I couldn't even tell you what console it was, but it was a long fucking time ago. It was one of the really early consoles. That would have been the last time I played it. Geometry Dash. I've heard of that one, Zuchan. I don't think I've ever played that, but I've heard of that one. Yeah. So again, as I said, if any of you guys want to suggest a rage quit game, please just that's the best place for me to keep all the recommendations. Just go to that video I just posted and just put it in a comment. I think I'm going to try. Think I'm going to try the surgery game again. It might be fun. It might be a fun series to do rather than in streams, just on the videos. It might be a fun series to do to take certain titles and see how long it takes for me to quit. Because it's not, you guys know, the one thing I've always said, I'm always honest with you guys, whether it's in discussion or emotion or whatever. If I quit, it's because I've had it. I'm not going to put on a show about it, to make, this will get clicks if I quit this way. If I quit, it's because I've fucking had it. I've had enough. Okay, yeah, if you would, Jill, put him in there for me. Super Mario Maker. Green says, I still say if we were to try a Sonic game, it should be Sonic Frontiers. It's not just running around. You actually have combat, too. And you can even adjust the settings like Sonic Speed. That's kind of cool. Well, you know me. I love combat. And having seen the movies and actually seen some Sonic content, I think it's cool. I never knew Sonic was an actual badass when it came to a fight. Oh, Saki's backstory, Chrome. All the stories in Fruits Basket are amazing. That's a phenomenally well-written show. Yeah, I really like Saki's. That was cool. That was really cool. And Megumi is a great character, too, her little brother. I love him. Yeah, that's it. That's an excellent show. We got another episode coming, too, because Chandler sponsors an episode a month, too, along with Ravens, too. Jetflyer, thanks for the super chat, pal. So since this is an Ask Me stream, read my next post. It will actually be 6 comments. It's a long post. It is political. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for it. Has been season 2. Has been so fun. Do I like Mario 64? Yeah, like I say, I played a lot of the Mario games as they came out. The only one that really stays with me, though, that is something I always go back to and enjoy is Kart. Eric, I'm not sure what you mean as far as software for reaction videos. I'm not sure what you mean. It's just screen recording. I record myself and the video I'm reacting to, and then I edit it up. Okay, Jetflyer says, what is your opinion on Ronald Reagan as a president, and give some specifics? To me, it seems like trickle-down economics is doomed. Trickle-down, you meant, fail because no matter how big or small a tax break you give these corporations, they're just going to give it to themselves. I don't see how not going over the top with how big a break you give them would make any difference. Oh, I disagree with that. I also heard they removed deductions that benefited the middle class while adding deductions for the wealthy, and they removed mental health facilities and treatment. Opposing unions is not atypical for Republicans. It's commonplace. And overall was just responsible for destroying the middle class. I would disagree with that. And if I get to do more research on it, if these things are true, what kind of source that kind of sours my opinion on them? What's your take on all these things? Wow, that's a lot of question. Trickle down economics, I agree and I disagree. It hasn't worked, but I would disagree with your assessment as to why, because it's always been, we've talked about this before, and the analogy I always use has to do with food, because that's what I like to do. Trickle-down economics theoretically could work and should work. But the analogy I always use, and a lot of the gang's already heard it, is you get a nice, warm cinnamon bun. First thing you want to do when that nice, warm cinnamon bun comes out of the oven is put a nice coating of icing on it. Well, if you put a nice, smooth coating, the warmth of the cinnamon bun will just melt it, and it runs all through it, and it's delicious. If you put too much coating on it, still only part of it will run through the cinnamon bun, and then you got big globs of just pure sugar on the top, and it ruins it. And that's how we've done trickle-down economics. Every time we've done it, there's been too much icing on the top. So even if some trickles down, and in the past some has trickled down to the middle class, you gave them so many breaks that that glob icing on top is ruining everything. Excuse me. As far as I said, opposing unions, that's not unusual for Republicans. As somebody who was a union member for the vast majority of my working life, trust me, they have pluses and minuses. They are absolutely necessary in some spots and an absolute hindrance to getting things done in others. So I'm very on the fence with unions. Let's see. And I wouldn't agree with all his policies. To say he destroyed the middle class, I think, is erroneous. Did he give too much to the rich? Yes. But as somebody who was middle class through the Reagan years, I wasn't destroyed. Nobody that I know was destroyed. It was a good time. A good time for us financially. It wasn't any of those times that I remember in life where it seemed like everybody was hurting or anything. Just slash taxes across the board. Oh, Chrome. I am a huge believer in, and it should be done tomorrow and it won't be, get rid of the IRS and go with a fair tax. I'm not, Trump with his tariffs. Tariffs can be effective. I think he's gone way too far with them. Way too far. There are some, depending on an individual country's makeup, their GDP, it's not ridiculous to think that we'd be at a trade imbalance with them. So trying to even it up with everybody, even though I'm an America First type guy, isn't fair. So he's going way too far with a lot of it. And rather than doing that, and again, there's some of the tariffs I think that are way too far out of whack, and he should increase tariffs in certain situations. That would bring a little extra money in. But you just go to a fair tax. Because then you keep everything, instead of just handing the government money, you're keeping everything competitive. And for those who don't know, a fair tax is just the government comes in and says, okay, you keep your entire paycheck. Not going to take federal tax, SSI, anything, because it's all going to be paid from this fair tax. Economists estimate that would add 23% to your purchases. Now, I've done the math for us, and at a family gathering, we're all talking about it, and everybody was doing the figures. Nobody didn't come out ahead, figuring what they give the government totally and what they figure 23% added to the goods and services, well, no, goods, not services, but goods they purchase would come out to. And it just can't get anything new, can't get any traction. The IRS the people I've encountered working at the IRS have been great. I've got nothing against IRS employees, and I've had to work with them on a number of occasions. But the IRS itself is a bloated system that became bloated because our tax code is fucking ridiculous. It's asinine. It is so unnecessarily complicated. So I don't understand it at all. Do you think Mike Pence could become president? My opinion, John, I don't think there's a chance in hell. I think he's far too much in the pocket of the hard religious right. And he's just in general, not a likable person. And again, you're asking my opinion. I know others will disagree. My opinion, just not a likable person at all. NY Tram says what's ridiculous about the tariffs is Trump's officials acting as if it's disrespectful for other countries to react them with their own. Yeah, I don't like the way he's handled this. And again, I know because our society is so, us against them, and if you're not with me, you're against me, that if you voted for Trump, well, you have to be one of the enemies. Listen, I'm more than willing to call him out on the things I think he did wrong, and I think he's gone way too far with the tariffs. there are definitely situations, even some with Canada, where the tariffs were way too out of whack. However, it could have been handled a lot differently. And I do think negotiating with Canada, had you gone in and said, listen, you having, and I don't remember the numbers offhand, I'd have to go look at them again. But if you have a tariff of 120% on this good or service, and when we export to you, we have none, we got to do something about that. I think it could all been worked out. It could all been negotiated. And I just don't like, as I said, him saying that, well, when we deal with everybody around the world, tariffs will be equal. Well, it's not always an equitable situation. I mean, there are some countries where they don't have the opportunities for wealth, and never will, that we have here in America. And so to have the trade imbalance, have a trade imbalance of some degree, is not a big deal. And it's honestly fair. So I don't know. My problem with Trump always has been, he just goes too over the top with things. I think Vance is doing a decent job as VP, but he really hasn't had a lot of responsibility at Gabriel. So it's hard to say. He's a smart guy, Vance. I'll give him that. I'm still withholding my full take on him, I guess, but he's a very smart guy. Chrome says, yeah, but he doesn't care, honestly. His priority is his own country, not others. I'm for that. I've always said I'm an America first guy. However, that said, I think if you're British, you should be a Britain first person. If you're Irish first person. Scottish, Scotland first person. Or Irishland, I mean. If you're Russian, you should be Russian first. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. When you're talking about your country first, not your country only, I think that's the way everybody should be. Jetfire says, next post. And thank you for the super chat. He says, I wasn't trying to say that I agreed with or disagreed with Reagan's policies. No, I got what you're saying. I don't follow politics in general. I just like hearing your political takes on things because you aren't extremes. No. I got completely where you're coming from. Yeah, as I said, overall, I thought Reagan was a decent president, and much like what we're talking about with Trump, he did some things I didn't particularly care for. I do think Reagan did help the one percenters a lot. He also did a lot of good things for the country as well. And I completely disagree with the idea that he destroyed the middle class. But again, as I said, some of the things that we're talking about, and I get completely where you're coming from, like unions.
And if you're German, you should be fucking ashamed of yourselves, you fucking war criminals.
For those of you who don't know, of course, Big Green is German. No, I've always believed that. Of course, you should want to take care of your own country first. Absolutely. Did you see the leak of the group chat with Vance, a member of the State Department? I thought that was, I saw the one with, oh shit, what the hell is it? Hegseth. But was Vance in on that too? Gabriel says, what's your opinion on liberal TikTokers putting Biden ahead of Trump as far as who's a better president? Oh, that's always going to be a matter of opinion. I was entirely unimpressed with Biden, not because he's a Democrat, because, well, I think for the majority of Biden's term, I don't think Biden was calling the shots at all anyway. And I'd said that we'd been saying that long before the debate where it became obvious to the whole world that he was seriously slipping. So I don't think Biden was really in charge for much of his presidency. Well, Joe Biden, I think Jill Biden was largely in charge. Donkey Kong's new destructible terrain. Hold on, guys. I'm going to take a quick peek at Chrome's link here. Donkey Kong. Oh, that's cool. Smash that shit up. Yeah, you're right. I will enjoy that. I love smashing stuff. Fighting, smashing, anything like that. Yeah, I think so too, Metville. He was mentally gone. So again, it's hard to judge his presidency because I don't really think he was calling the shots. Doc, good to see you, my friend. Uh, you you missed a hell of a go round today, Doc. We tried playing GTA 5. Everything started fucking up. The game crashed once. Then the stream started crashing, and when we got or it started fucking up, and when we got everything back to normal, the stream was 5 minutes behind. So we had to start over. Excuse me. Unironically, a blue raspberry says, "Can the housing market be good for investors and aspiring home buyers?" I hesitate to even opine on things like that, my friend, because I'm not well enough versed. I just don't really know. And I've made predictions like that in the past, and I tend to swing and miss, so I kind of stay away from it. Crimson Emperor says, "What is your opinion on Trump saying that at the moment EPA emission standards are only going to be rolled back to 2020? I doubt the CRAs will get rid of the carbs in California after this." I don't know. I that one I hadn't heard, Emperor. I hadn't heard that was in his plans. Some of Trump's tariffs are against uninhabited islands. I heard about that. Does America have a trade deficit with penguins? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by the going too far. There should be no blanket policy on tariffs. Our policy with each and every nation should be handled individually. And, that's why the president has access to all these brilliant minds. Have people who are pillars in that realm of dealing with international affairs and international commerce, give you an idea of what would make things fair, but everything was just a blanket. Jill says Trump treats Taiwan as a separate country when China is trying to claim it as a province, right? While Trump is simultaneously trying to turn Canada into a state and doesn't respect our sovereignty. I don't know where the hell he came up with that. And I'll tell you, Jill, that doesn't even make any sense for Trump. Because, traditionally, Canada has voted very liberal by American standards. So if he were to make Canada a state, they'd have a shit ton of pull in the elections, in the Electoral College. And they're probably not going to go, those votes aren't going to go the way he wants. I don't know where that comes from. That's why it's unfortunate, because I like a lot of Trump's ideas, but then we get to the execution part, and a lot of times it falls apart. See, I have always told myself I don't want to be a one item, have my political views entirely shaped by any one specific issue. But seeing as it's being bandied about, if somebody's willing to get rid of the IRS with what it would do just for my personal finances, my family, and all of our family, what it would do to help us, that president will be okay with me. I'm not saying Trump will do it. I don't know that he will or not. But anybody that's willing to step up and do that, I'll be willing to give you a lot of leeway on everything else. Jill says, also looks like some of us Canadians don't recognize Taiwan as a country. Well, we get the same thing here, Jill. There's China has such a stranglehold on entertainment and stuff in America. That's why you have people like John Cena having to apologize to China, publicly apologize. He was such a bitch because he had said something about Taiwan being a country. So he had to apologize to them in Chinese because, he had a movie they had just made and the Chinese audience is huge and everything. So John bent the knee and and sucked a little Winnie the Pooh dick because he got out of line. I don't think that's a serious thing. Look fun. I think that's something that came up in Trump's mind. I don't think the idea of Canada as a 51st state is anything that, I don't think anyway, that any rational people believe is actually going to happen. Oh, woke up like 20 minutes ago? I got you, Doc. I'm glad you were able to pop in. Well, like I said, that stream earlier was, that was a riot. I'm hoping it's not going to be a continuing issue. So I'll have to make some changes because I really want to get through GTA 5 this time. Yeah, Gallup, he says, I'm trying to imagine Macho Man apologizing to the Chinese, right? Oh, yeah, that was, as far as I'm concerned, that was such a bitch move. Jetfire says, it's true, though, that Reagan removed tax deductions that benefited the middle class while having deductions for the wealthy. I wasn't alive during the time, so I wouldn't know. I don't want to, we're going back 40 years now, so I'd have to honestly go back and revisit. I do know he gave a lot of tax deductions to the wealthy because of trickle-down economics, but that's a part of what I was talking about, Jetfire, about the whole cinnamon bun analogy. That's part of that extra icing on top. I don't remember it affecting us as if we lost any major deductions. I remember doing quite well during the Reagan years, but that's not to say that's the case. Again, we're talking 40 years ago. I could very well not be remembering properly. Jill says this is going to plunge the U.S. economy into a deep recession. It's possible. Ordinary American people will feel the pain. That's how they'll learn to vote. Well, there's no doubt, and I never doubted when he started talking about tariffs, and I didn't realize they were going to be this expansive. But even when he started talking about tariffs, you know that if you slap tariffs, you're going to have some financial distress at the beginning. What you hope for is it brings manufacturing back to the U.S., and in the long run, you come out ahead. So is it going to be painful for a while? Absolutely. There's no question about it.
I made a severe and continuous
There we go.
lapse in my judgment. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize. Oh, no.
I don't blame Macho. There it is. There's the Macho Man apology. I forgot we had him as one of the text-to-speech. I think Cena's doing a pretty good job being a heel. I think that was a really a stroke of genius. Well, I shouldn't say genius. It was obvious. I think it was a good idea having Cena make this final run as a heel. When you had a guy who had a career that long and that successful, always as a face, that's so unusual to begin with. So turning him heel was brilliant. And I will say that worked shoot exchange between Cody and Cena the other night, that was good. They did a good job on that. Speaking of games, tangentially, have you seen how bad the reviews for the Minecraft film are? No, I haven't. Is that bad? I haven't seen the reviews on that yet. Oh, that's too bad. Trump's first term, 1 to 10. That's a tough one. For me, 6.5. That was to be expected. It already looked like a train wreck. That's too bad. That would have been so cool if it could have been a good movie. I would have enjoyed that. Doc says, I saw the trailer and lost any interest I could have had in the Minecraft movie. I did see that trailer. Didn't I see the trailer? Or did I see snippets? I don't remember. But yeah, that's unfortunate. So it sounds like we're going to get yet another big budget disaster, huh? At least this one wasn't Disney. Because you know Disney's going to have to raise the prices at the parks even more to make up for all the fucking money they're going to lose on Snow White. And all they had to do was just do a straight up remake of the story if you wanted to go live action. We're going to have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Oh, what? No, we can't use dwarfs. We're going to have Snow White and the Seven Magical People. Oh, what? That's fucking stupid? Oh, okay. Well, we'll just throw in some CGI dwarf. Fucking Disney. Jack Black and Steve, that is a pretty wild decision. I agree with that. And then Big Green saying also is, why is Jack Black in every video game adaptation now? He's great as Bowser, but enough is enough. I like Jack Black. I have not been a huge fan of Jack Black's movies. To me, even the good ones are like, they're good. You know, and I enjoyed them. The wrestling one he did, Nacho Libre, that was good. It was fun. But I've never been a huge fan of his films. You know, none of them are like elite level for me. Excuse me. Chrome says, officially rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. A Minecraft movie is a new low for modern video game adaptations, being painfully unfunny and simply ugly to look at. Wow. Still going to make money, though? It has a chance. I mean, we all know Snow White had no chance of coming out ahead. But yeah, it'd have a chance. Tenacious D. That's true, too, Doc. For a lot of people, you know, that's a big... And I was never into Tenacious D. But for a lot of people, yeah, that would be a big plus as far as Jack Black.
Snow White and the overblown movie budget.
Snow White, yeah. And just, they put you off with it. Again, as I said, with the concept, they don't even know who to bend the knee to. It just changes from moment to moment. Why? Just go, if you had a vision for this, go out and make it. And let the pieces fall where they may. But every time that social media has a different opinion, or fucking Tyrion from Game of Thrones says you can't do something, what? And I do like the way when, what's Tyrion's actor's name? It's gone in my head now. Shit. But anyway, when he came out whining that it was insensitive to use little people, to use dwarves and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and blah, blah, blah. So immediately Disney said, oh, somebody's accusing us of being insensitive. Well, we'll stop. Peter Dinklage. That's it. Thanks, Dick. Peter Dinklage. Brad Williams, who I love, the comedian, he came out and he fucking hammered Dinklage. He said, what a fucking stupid, and he was right. What a fucking stupid thing to say. He said, that's such a magnificent opportunity for some little people to get the acting roles of a lifetime, and this asshole ruined it. And like Brad said, you've made it. You got paid. You got yours. So fuck everybody else, huh? And he went off on him. I love that.
Wolverine. Dagusha asked me, where the fuck is Peter Dinklage? What does a man need to do to get tits and wine? He seems like an intelligent dude. Is that why he wasn't a dwarf in Snow White? Are you serious? You want me to tell you where Peter Dinklage is? First, find your bloody brain.
Gordon has a lot to say on this.
Goddamn walking shoes and search. As for the rest, go ask Curtis. Candy, you donkey.
Curtis, candy, you donkey. Doc says at least Kathleen Kennedy got fired. Yeah, might actually get good Star Wars again. I heard about that. Jetfire says, with how bad extremism is now, all the talk about Reagan removing mental health care could be skewed. One thing's for sure, there does seem to be an issue with mental health. Oh, there's definitely an issue with mental health in this nation. Yeah, no doubt. In my lifetime, I've never seen it worse than it is now. And there can be a number of reasons for it, but people just, and this is just in general, obviously it's not speaking of everyone, but there are so many people that just are unable to deal with life, you know, without taking some sort of extreme measure. And I don't mean eliminating themselves. I mean just, you know, seeking out cult-like behavior or something just for a feeling of belonging. It's really sad. Is it because the everybody gets a trophy mentality we've adopted? I don't know. It's just like they talk about schools getting shot up. I've told you guys, when I went to school, and this is no exaggeration, when I was in school, elementary school, middle school, high school, throughout, there were guns everywhere. Because first of all, I went to school in the country. So all the, juniors and seniors that were driving, they all had pickup trucks and shit, and they all had guns in their racks. Kids would get guns for Christmas, for hunting or whatever. They'd bring them right into school to show everybody, and teachers would be like, oh, let me see what you got, And it was never even a thought. And that was back, bullying ran rampant back then, which is not a good thing. That's not a plus. Don't get me wrong. I think we do as a society a much better job of trying to handle bullying now than we did then. Because back then, if you got bullied, it was just like, oh, well, just stand up to the bully, they'll stop. Well, of course, that's not true. Or they would tell certain kids, well, you got to fight back. Well, some kids aren't fighters. Some people don't want to fight. They just want to be left alone. So there was tons of bullying, but nobody ever thought about taking a gun to their classmates. And they were there. They could have done it easily. There was nobody watching the doors or anything. And as I said, guns were all around. So it's not guns that have made this society more dangerous. It's that people want to use them for things that they didn't want to use them for before. Everyone gets a trophy mentality. It needs to go away. Well, you know what I've always said with that, Metval? I don't even mind everybody getting a trophy so much if we're going to be, actually specific about it. Like, say it's Little League. I think it's cool for everybody to get a trophy because they played the season. So they have a little something as a memento. Where I have a problem is if that everybody getting a trophy supplants a kid getting the MVP award or best pitcher award or best this or best that. You can still give awards for excellence. And if the kids who didn't get it feel bad about it, too bad. You got to learn that sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. And if you want a chance at winning, you got to get better than that person in front of you who got the trophy. You learn more from losing than you do from winning. So I don't have a problem with everybody getting a trophy as long as we also continue to recognize exceptionalism. Doc says it's because life is shitty now for new humans. Rougher, definitely rougher now. Well, depends on what era you go back to, unless you go way back. I mean, in the early 1900s, I would say things were even tougher than they are now. Maybe not, I would say maybe not financially, but yeah, financially too. But as far as like my generation, yeah, financially, we definitely, you guys, young people today have it much tougher. It's not as extreme as some people make out, because I hear people talking all the time about my generation. Well, you could go out and buy a house and have a family and everything on one income. I never lived that life. In my life, I have never not been working two jobs.
I still remember that just stand up to the bully shit from my time at school. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I'll stand up to the guy who is twice my size.
Exactly.
I never got bullied. I'm just making a point.
I 100% I agree with you. I did get bullied. I told you guys that. But I didn't come out of it because somebody told me I had to stand up to the bullies. It was no major epiphany. Just one day I decided I'm not fucking doing this anymore. And I decided I was fighting back. And then as I told you, what happened was when I did that, I discovered I liked fighting. So then it became easy to take on the bullies because I wanted to. I told you guys, I started my freshman year in a new high school and I shaved my head right before we went in when nobody shaved their head because I wanted to see what asshole would start something with me over it. Because I would never bully anybody, so I had to call the bullies out.
Being a good Samaritan.
Would you like to be just asking, being a good Samaritan? I'm not sure what you mean, Bender. Oh, just asking being a good Samaritan because it's ask anything? Austin says, where did you grow up? In upstate New York. A couple different places, just outside of Albany. What was your first job as a kid and how old were you? The first real job I had was this time of year. I got hired to play the Easter Bunny at a local florist shop. And I was 15? Then at 16, I started working at a McDonald's, and I've been working ever since. Tsunami says, no, you need to stand up to bullies no matter who you are. They want you to be like, I completely disagree.
Bullied. No thanks, Bender, you metallic asshole.
Uh-oh, Bender and Sonic are at it now. No, I completely disagree, Tsunami. That's easy for you to say if you're somebody who's willing to stand up. Some people don't want to fight. They don't want to get physical, and they shouldn't have to. There's no reason you should have to fight somebody. And the thing that gets me with bullies is they're assholes and scumbags anyway, because I've lived a lot of places through my life. I've never been anywhere that if you wanted to fight, that you couldn't find somebody who wanted to fight. You don't need to bully somebody. If you're a badass and you want to fight, you can find somebody else who's wanting to fight with you. So if you're picking on somebody and trying to draw them into a fight, it's because you're a bitch. That's the way I would look at it. A lot of people started off in Target or like me, McDonald's. Yeah, Metville. Chrome says, I mean, social cohesion is basically destroyed now. Larger and larger cities kind of did it. Look up the Rat City experiments one day and it'll make perfect sense. I'll have to look that up. Going Nowhere says, do you think there are different ways to fight bullies? Sure. Sure there are. But what my point is, you shouldn't have to fight a bully. I've just never understood the concept. Because again, the concept of a bully is that they're a tough guy or a tough girl. Well, if you're tough, go find somebody that wants to fight. I just, again, from the get-go, you're a bitch. I'm being involved in the things I have. I've known a lot of genuine, legit, top-of-the-world tough guys. And out of them, don't know a single one of them that ever bullied anybody. Or had to tell everybody.
Curtis not remembering what he had for breakfast a week ago. Curtis
realizing he likes fighting at school. Yeah. I just found out I liked fighting. Hey, it worked out fortuitously. Yeah, I was a little fat ginger kid. Of course you're going to get bullied.
All right, Curtis. I'm going to the gym after this.
All right.
What day should I do?
I don't know. I don't know where you are in your cycle, Bender. Chest is always a good go-to, unless you've done chest recently. Well, you're young. If I do a chest workout now, it's a full week off to heal. Couldn't figure out why for the longest time I wasn't making gains again. And my doctor told me, he said, you're fucking old, dude. He said, there's no 3 or 4 days in between anymore. You're a week. I'm like, oh. Do you think one can get bullied at any age? Sure, it's possible. Sure. Gabriel says, I've been a target for bullying since pre-K through middle school, somewhat through high school as well, simply because I have autism and I wore cheaper brand clothes. That's terrible. So that's what I mean. That's why I disagree with that whole concept of, oh, you just got to stand up to the bullies. No. A lot of people don't want to stand up to anybody. They just want to be left alone. And as a society, as a group, I think it's up to us to protect them from the bullies. Nobody should have to fight if they don't want to. Chrome says, to sum it up, they made a giant rat maze city as a psychological experiment.
Reality check from your doctor.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, I love that. That was my doctor up in New York when I lived there. I love that guy, and he was right up front about everything. But he was an athlete. He was a rugby player and pretty good one. So yeah, he would set me straight on a lot of things. He was a great guy. Loved him. As a psychological experiment, it was clean and spacious and had free access to food. When they reached a certain population, they went, okay. Jet Flyer says, what's your relationship with your dad growing up? I remember saying there's kind of a prick, at least for your mom. Not necessarily a prick. It was more of, that's the way things were a lot of times back then. It was like, he never hit my mom or anything. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. It was just that they were like the second-class citizens. And my father had zero work ethic. So he would never keep a job, but then he would also, my mom, who did have a great work ethic, was told she couldn't work outside the house because he would provide. It was the man who provides. It just didn't make any sense at all. Continuing and saying, started killing each other, if I remember, stopped breeding, and the male rats became obsessed with their appearance and constantly groomed themselves. Scientists called them beautiful ones. That's interesting. That's really interesting. And Tram says, I like watching fighting, but I've never been a fighter myself. As a loner by nature, I never understood why bullies bothered with me. That's why, because you didn't want to fight. And that's the nature of scumbag bullies. Here, let's go pick on somebody who doesn't want to fight. And again, as I've said, I've never lived anywhere where you can't find somebody who wants to fight with you. So they aren't looking too hard if they're picking on people who don't want to fight. That's just pussy stuff. Big Chode Haver says, in my experience, bullies aren't tough. 90% of bullies target people who won't kick them. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. And it doesn't matter if they're tough or not. The fact remains, you're still picking on people who don't want to fight. And they shouldn't have to. There's no reason you should have to fight. You'd like to think that you have a society where if you do see somebody being bullied, other people will step in on their behalf, because no one should have to fight. It happened to me once with in high school. Kid's name was Keith Pierce. And when I was in high school, I had my little group of friends. And again, by this time, I didn't get bullied because I really liked fighting. And other than that, I didn't hang out with much of anybody. So one day it was a study hall, a big study hall we had in the cafeteria. And I knew this Keith Pierce. I'd seen him around and stuff. A funny kid, and exactly what I'm talking about. Just a goofy, fun-loving kid, never bothered anybody or anything. And so I'm sitting by myself at the table, and he comes up and he's all nervous. And he goes, Is it okay if I sit here? Stimpy wake meme? I don't think we've seen that one before. And I said, yeah, sit down. I just had a magazine. I wasn't studying. We had a big magazine rack in the back of the classroom. I had a sports magazine or something. And I see he's all nervous. And he starts going, he says, oh man, I'm in trouble. I said, why? What's the matter? He says, Victor is going to kick my ass. And Victor was the local bully, one of the bullies in school. He's going to kick my ass. So why? He goes, I don't know. Why does Victor kick anybody's ass? I'm like, well. So I wasn't going to get involved in it. And I thought, you know what? I'll walk out with him. And so we walk out of the study hall, turn to the right. I'll never forget it. And then standing under the stairs, there was a little alcove area under the stairs, was Victor and his fat toad Steve. It was almost like a sitcom, because Steve was like, oh, Victor, you're the best, and big fat kid. So Victor steps out in front of Pierce and he starts talking shit to him. And so I said, and Victor and I never had go-rounds before. I said, Victor, leave him alone. And Victor, of course, being the bully, he's like, butt out. It's none of your business. I said, Victor, just leave him alone. He's not bothering you. He's not bothering anybody. Just leave him the fuck alone. And Victor's in a spot because he's in front of his toady Steve, and other kids are watching. And he's like, I'm telling you, you need to butt out. I said, I'm telling you, just leave him the fuck alone. He's not doing anything to you. And he's like, all right, we'll settle this outside. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so the next day, we're going out it wasn't that same day, we're going out for gym, I think. And there's Victor and Steve, and the fight was on, and I lost. It's good. Victor was tough. It was a good fight. I put it up for a little while. He got an advantage over me, got me down, and our gym teacher's name was Snyder, Tim Snyder. I loved the man. He saw the fight. He wasn't going to break it up because he wanted to see if I could get my ass kicked, because he was a teacher, and yet we had this relationship that was just ball busting on each other. So once Victor got the advantage and landed a few good shots, then Snitsky broke it up. But so I lost that one. And then it was a couple days later, we're outside again. We hooked it up again. That one was more even. And it finally got to a point where it was just one of those things that I know Victor knew that I would fight him anytime, anywhere. And I was really a student of fighting. So every time I fought him, even as I was getting my ass kicked, I was looking for weaknesses, and I was finding some. And I think he just kind of veered away from me and from, we'd call him Hawkeye because MASH in the 70s, and his name was Pierce. Me and Hawkeye, he just kind of stayed away from us. I did end up beating the shit out of Steve one time, though, because I hated that fat fuck. Weasel said, in my school, nobody played hero, so you had to fight back. And that's what sucks. That's what sucks. Anybody being pushed into
Fuck
that.
You, Steve. Now
yeah,
every Steve
exactly.
in chat will be like, what did I do?
Well, yeah, I do. Just sitting here, bro. But yeah, that was the whole story. That was, and that Steve, when I fought him too, because he would only talk shit when he was with Victor. And again, we're outside. And by this time, Victor washed his hands if he didn't want to fight anymore. But Steve, I don't even remember what started. He said something to me. And I said something about you. I said, you talking to me, fat ass? I was a fat kid too, but I didn't care. And he comes up to me. And right when he come up to me, we were squared up. And I was going to throw a leg kick first. Because, I was learning more and more martial arts. And nobody knew about leg kicks. But I don't know why I changed my mind. I just decided to put a boot right in his fat stomach. And I fucking hammered him. Front kick. Just boom. And plowed him. And he went down and he cried. You're supposed to be a bully. You're supposed to be a tough guy. I swear to you, he cried. He's I can't breathe. I can't breathe. You fucking bitch. I hated that kid. Chrome says, it's still funny to me how you can remember that so clearly, but you probably can't remember what film we talked about 5 minutes ago. I get how it works. It's hilarious to me. Well, you see it all the time, Chrome. How many times am I doing a reaction video and something will spur a memory from 1968 and I remember it like boom, boom, boom. I can tell you, talk about MASH. MASH was out in the 70s. If on those rare occasions I see one on late night TV or something, I can still tell you a lot of areas. I can go word for word with the dialogue because I enjoyed that show. Anything old, it's still there. Anything that just happened, it's gone. I'm even hoping, I was hoping to play GTA 5 today, but we didn't get to. So what Pokemon does Misty have? Oh, that's a name that always escapes me anyway, Chrome. The little whiny one. Not even whiny, just chirping one. I can't remember the name. But I will remember, again, the name of cartoon characters from 1970. Jetfire says, that's one thing I think has gotten better. When I was in school, I didn't have anyone trying to fight me or beat me up. The only bullying I experienced was just some gossip or something. Right. I do think, from what I've seen from my kids and my grandkids growing up, as a society, we generally are doing better about bullying now than we did back then. At least, they do give kids a place to go if they're being victimized.
Yeah, we didn't play
Togepi,
GTA.
that's
we
it.
just
Yep.
did this AAMA stream instead. That's what happened, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure it is, Sonic. But a certain other one? I don't know. She's got that, what is it, Staryu? I know she's got Staryu. Gamer says, Polywog, the motherfucker always gets a headache and goes, you're talking, yeah. That name will come to me, I think, if I think about it long enough. Psyduck. Yeah, I like Psyduck. But that's what's funny, too. Even things like that. Now, I could get Psyduck to come to me, but I have to work on it, whereas stuff from 40 years ago will be right there. I like Psyduck. No, I never had long hair, Milk. My hair has always been really, really thick. That's why I started shaving it. But even back then, I always kept it. I kept it either cut short or crew cut. I always kept it short. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Austin. My experience with bullies aren't tough. 90% of bullies target people. That's not always true. I know some bullies, Victor. I know bullies who were tough. I know a lot that were bitches, too. I haven't heard PewDiePie's Coco Melon diss track, Shay. I haven't heard that. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Dallas. Chrome says it popped into my head recently because we haven't seen him much lately. It's odd. Yeah, I like Psyduck.
Think fast. What's the name of the guy who was always with Itachi in Naruto?
Oh, see, now you're still in a dead zone there. The guy that was always with Itachi. Fuck Steve. All my homies hate Steve. Fuck Steve. Perfect, Willie. I'm not sure what you mean. What guy that was always with Itachi? I'm not. Are you talking about see, you're again, you didn't go far enough back. That's definitely in the era of things I still have trouble remembering. But you're talking about my Shark Man? He is one of my favorite characters in anime, but he specifically has a name that always eludes me. It won't come to me. Kiss-a-may. Gene Rayburn, that's going way back, Austin. Now, see, Gene Rayburn, you go back to Match Game 71, Match Game 72, Match Game 73. That I remember. Immediately, he says Gene Rayburn. I know exactly who he is. I can hear his voice in my head.
I intentionally went with Kisame because you always forget his name, even though you like him.
Yeah. There are certain, that I've noticed with, I've told you guys this, with the post-concussion, nouns are always the toughest thing, but there are certain names that just kind of block themselves for me. It's almost hard to describe. Like when you brought that up, I knew I wasn't going to be able to come up with a name. It's just a block there. Oh, you got to go, Doc? Thanks for popping in while you could. Appreciate it. My favorite thing about Kisame, though look fun, was how he died. That's badass shit right there. You're a badass when you say, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not giving you any information. I'll just have my guys come eat me. That I already liked him, and when he went out that way, it's like, yeah, that's my boy right there. LeBron, I want to ask 2 questions. What is your favorite video game? What game got you into gaming? I've always been into gaming, so I can't say any one did, because as I told the gang, I had Pong. You know, right from when that was, at least that I remember, that's the first home gaming system, and I've played games ever since. I've loved them. Before that, it was always in the arcades. That's where you had to go to play them. I loved playing Tron in the arcades. I remember that. Burger Time. So no one game got me into it unless you want to say Pong. And my favorite video game? Probably the earlier Call of Duties. I spent a lot of time on those. Now Call of Duty is trash as far as I'm concerned. But those early Call of Duties, there were several of them that were really exceptional. Sharks do eat each other in the womb, apparently. I've heard that too, Chrome. And that's basically what he had said, you know. Kisame had said, sharks got no problem eating each other. Oh, sure, I played Space Invaders. That wasn't one of my favorites, but yeah, I used to play that. My wife really likes Space Invaders. All right, Ice Dragonu, thanks for hanging out with us. Tyler says, do you think one should always trust their gut feeling or intuition? I think one should always have their gut feeling or intuition be a part of their decision making. I don't think it's ever good to ever just trust one input of many you can have. I mean, have your gut feeling, that's great, and then add to that gut feeling any facts and details you can get around the situation that might help you come to a good conclusion. First cartoon I ever watched, Suchan, I've been a cartoon nut since I was little. It would have been something on Saturday mornings in the 60s. I don't remember which one came first. I remember watching the Flintstones really early on. Jetsons, I think, was one of the early ones. It could be any one of a number of them. Jill says, do American parents actually call their male children son on a regular basis? Sure, a lot do. Yeah, and you know, just when chatting and stuff, I'll call Braxton son sometimes. Or usually or it'll just be my boy or something like that. But yeah. I'm not a big motorsports guy, Gabriel. I don't hate them, but I don't follow any really. LeBron says, thank you for answering Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. That was a great one. Is my favorite. That was a great one. Yeah, it would probably be, you know, that series. Well, that's how this channel started, playing that. But yeah, I loved Call of Duty. Loved it. It's so sad what they ended up doing to it. What sodas have you been drinking lately? Typically stay with the same ones, John. I'd always liked or not always, but since they came out with them, I like the diet sodas better than the regular. Typically, they're too sweet, the regular ones. But now that they've come out with these zeros, and like they have Pepsi Zero instead of Diet Pepsi, I like the zeros a lot. I like Coke Zero. I like Pepsi Zero. Um, when I go, because I love soda, so when I go to the store, our local market that I like here is called Food Lion. They'll have sales on them every so often, and typically what I get, depending on whether it's Coke or Pepsi with the sale, is either Pepsi Zero or Coke Zero. Chrome says, so I've not seen your Game of Thrones reactions, just not a series I'm interested in, sure, especially due to the ending, but have you started to notice the bad things creeping in? Not really yet, Chrome, but I'm only 2 episodes in, or an episode and a half in, to where people say it starts to go off the rails. Because season 6 I thought was quite good, but they say in 7 that's where the problems begin. Jetfire says there are rumors that Curtis tried playing GTA, but the game malfunctioned or something. It's just a rumor though. Yeah, I've heard that too, Jetfire. It's even been floating around chat a little bit. I don't know how rumors like that get started. I don't know. People just bored, want to create some controversy. Maybe, I don't know. Work where? Look, find out because we're a little behind on comments. Where do you work? Food Lion? Do you really? Jesus Christ. Willie, that one, that's a bad one for me now with GTA, because I buy it every time. You guys convinced me with that one. It's like, oh fuck, what happened? Then I realized, oh no, I'm still driving. Blue Raspberry says it seems Trump is seeking to end the Ukraine war. He's seeking diplomacy with Putin, and he's willing to make concessions like Ukraine not joining.
Kind of like what's happening.
That's
in the
a tough
background.
situation.
I'm still working on that, by the way.
Oh, good, good, Sonic. Yeah. Oh, you work at Food Lion? Do you really? Look fun. That's cool. Yeah, that's my favorite store. Everybody, since we moved to North Carolina, we've got a good selection of markets around. But everybody told me about Harris Teeter, which is cool, and the other one who's Publix, which is all right. And I was told, well, Food Lion is kind of like the low rent market. I don't see it at all. I freaking love Food Lion. The deals are excellent. If you keep their little app, so you have you're a member and everything, they have great deals on stuff. And the store's always clean and nice. I love Food Lion. Zomer says, I'm a postal man. When you were a trash man, did you guys have a union? Yeah. I actually worked for a city, for a municipality. So yeah, we were in a union. Look Fun says, I do. It's the cheapest. Yeah, it's cheapest, and it's got a great selection of stuff. And the bakery department is good. The meat section is good. I love that store. Jill says, what's an input? That's...
Oh, wait, I'm not playing right now.
Oh, wait. Yeah, that's what it was, too. You're not wrong, Hal. For just a second, it's like, wait, what did I do wrong? What's an impulse purchase you now can't live without? Ooh, that's a tough question. For me, it was one of those handheld immersion blenders. I use that bitch multiple times a day. That's a great question, Jill. I don't know. An impulse purchase. I now can't, and I know I've made several. You'd think I'd be able to think of one right off the top of my head. An impulse purchase. I'm trying to look around my room right here because I buy things impulsively for my situation here. Yeah, that's basically it, Willie. That's what's going on right now. I could actually say the studio lights I have, those were an impulse buy. In a respect, because when I had the setup before, I had several different lights strategically positioned around the room. And because I had bought other stuff for my situation here, my setup, I was on the internet, and so I get an ad for these studio lights. And I'm like, why did I never think of them? I wonder if they're better than what I have. So I bought them, and yeah, I would never ever try and have a studio without them now. They made everything so much easier. That was great timing on the interaction. Look fun. Yeah, that was perfect. The timing was perfect on that. Johnny says, have you been watching MLB? I have. Dodgers are looking like one of the greatest teams ever. Shohei is insane. Yeah, it's nuts. And then the Yankees came out balls of fire too. It was like, oh, we're going to get a rematch in the series. And now they dropped 2 in a row to, who is it? Who are they playing? Arizona, I think. But man, they are hitting the ball. But the Dodgers, both the Yankees and the Dodgers can hit the shit out of the ball, but the Dodgers pitching staff is way better than the Yankees. I did see McFoley had a car accident a few days ago. Yeah, very nice that he was okay. Is there anything interesting or funny that's happened to you recently? Most of I spend, if you count live streams and creating videos, I spend the vast majority of my time with you guys. So, and I mean this sincerely, most anything funny or interesting that happens typically happens here. I mean, today, it was
the
just
Dodgers,
funny.
Huh? Makes me think of a fellow blue person for some reason.
Truth. Dodger blue. Not a Dodgers fan, but as I was saying, even today, the funniest thing that happened was the stream being 5 minutes behind what I was saying and how it all happened. I guess it's not really funny because I really wanted to complete that mission, but Shohei is ridiculously good. What a phenomenal baseball player. Chrome says, so question, someone who's been gaming for X years, what's your thoughts on game prices going up with Switch 2? I tend to agree with what you said, Chrome. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. But considering how long they've been at that $60 price mark, it was bound to happen. But we'll find... That's a good one. We'll find out, Chrome, because we'll see how... we'll see how the public reacts. Are they still selling the games or not? But I'm with you. Just what you said is how I feel about it. I don't want to pay that much for games, but you had to feel it coming at some point. Have you ever been scammed by anything, Jill says? If so, how many times? Oh, sure. I think we all, when we're younger, we all get scammed by different things. No major scams. Nothing that changed my life in a meaningful way. But, going... like playing, when I was younger, playing games at the fair and everything, these scammed, rigged games. Sure. Unironically, a Blue Raspberry says, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez are all fighting on the same card. Wow.
It was funny.
Wow, that's a
funny
good
and a
lineup.
bad, frustrating, annoying, long-winded, anger-inducing. Jesus fucking Christ, YouTube, what the fuck is your fucking problem?
Yeah, that's the worst part for me, though, Big Green, is when we're having something like that, it's like, don't tell me you're not getting enough signal when I can simply run a speed test and see that we're getting 32 megabits per second upload. You're getting plenty of signal. You're fucking doing something wrong with it. And even, it doesn't matter the game, even if the game is choppy, so what? It's still sending the same signal. It's just sending a signal of a choppy game. So I don't know what their malfunction was. How many times have you been arrested in your life? Going nowhere? Officially arrested? Not. Detained? A few. Austin says, would you rather fight Prime Undertaker or Prime Brock Lesnar? Get hit with a shooting star press one? Well, do you mean fight or wrestle?
How far behind was the stream? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
5 minutes. We're a solid 5 minutes behind. 5 minutes plus behind. If you're talking about working them, Austin, I've always thought it would have been amazing. I love Brock Lesnar, but it would have been amazing to get to work Undertaker. That would have been cool. $80, 75 pound is a little steep for Mario Kart, but I get it honestly. It was going to happen eventually. I get people not liking it, though. I just don't like the misinfo some are intentionally spreading. Yeah, and that's what we're going to find out, though, Chrome. Will it work out for them? Will the extra going up that much from typically 60 to 80, you'll find out that's too big a leap if the sales take a significant dip. You know, if the numbers would have been so much better at 60 that you actually lost money bringing it up to 80, then they're going to have to reevaluate. Zuchan says, have you ever raged because of a dog or cat, and has a cat ever slapped you? I don't think rage. No, I've scolded my pets. And has a cat ever slapped you? Sure. When I was a kid, as I said, we grew up out in the woods, so we always had barn cats and stuff. There were always cats around. Weasel says, what makes Shohei so good? I hear a lot about him. He's doing things that have never been done before. The guy is one of the best hitters I've seen, a phenomenal power hitter, great base stealer, very good fielder, but he's also one of the best pitchers in the majors. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, Brock would just drop himself on his head again doing the shooting star press. That one hurts. That makes me wince every time I see that clip. Oh, God damn. Tyler says, do you prefer dogs or cats as pet? Dogs, 100%. Not a cat person. And it works out well, too, because now I couldn't have them anyway. My wife is deathly allergic to cats. Bad cat allergy. But it works out fine because I'm a dog person. Johnny Bravocado says, Shohei is a unicorn, 100%. Players are specialized. They either pitch or are position players who hit. It's special enough that he does both, but he does both at an elite level. Yeah. Yep. You can make the case he's the best hitter in the league, and he's probably, well, we'll see now after the surgery, but prior to last year, he was definitely, top 6, 7 pitchers too. Hi. That one's so creepy. Tram says, George Foreman's recent death had me revisit some of his fights. What impressed me most is how effortlessly powerful he was. He certainly, that's well put. He was effortlessly powerful. Him and Ernie Shavers are probably the two hardest hitters I've ever seen. Shavers never achieved the levels that Foreman did because he could punch hard, but he wasn't as good a boxer as Foreman. But if you wanna see somebody else that could hit, just search Ernie Shavers, and he spells his first name weird, just so you can find it. It's Earnie Shavers. Check out some of his fights. She probably could do a hairless cat look fun, but we're not that into them anyway.
It's that I'm afraid that if they're successful, other companies will get it into their head that
they will.
Nintendo makes quality games that are worth a bit more of late. Though these other companies don't. Not by a mile.
No, 100%. You're 100% right, Willie. That's exactly what will happen. If Nintendo gets away with it, the other companies are going to say, oh, we can charge that price point too, even though their game isn't as good. No, you're exactly right. Oh, yeah, Johnny's a baseball guy. Yeah, Tsunami. Yeah, Johnny and I talk sports a lot over the years in here. But yeah, Shohei's just, again, I'm not a Dodger fan, but what he's doing is ridiculous. That swing he has, that's one of the best swings I've ever seen. Right up there with Ken Griffey Jr.'s. Austin says, what if SimSimi showed up at your door in a Notre Dame shirt that said, shit, Curtis, how would you react? Would you let him in the house or not? No, I wouldn't let him in no matter what he was wearing. Jill says, so I've been getting tickets recently from a police officer to my car window even though I'm parked legally. I don't know why they do this. Any ideas, Curtis? Yeah, I would. There should be a number on the ticket, right? Where you can call. Yeah, in fact, I would go down to City Hall or wherever. I don't know which municipality is giving out the ticket. But I'll go to wherever it is and say, listen, I'm legally parked. I'm not going to have to keep running into court and defend myself because a cop doesn't realize what is legal and what is illegal as far as parking. Because otherwise, that's what you'll have to do. You have to get a court date on it and go into court and explain why it's legal, which is a pain in the ass. Absolutely, you can dispute it, yeah.
So he's a great swinger. Curious.
Oh, that's it. Great swinger. He is a phenomenal swinger. It it could be a prank. Tickets have a pretty distinct look to them. I shouldn't even say I don't know. It depends on municipality to municipality too, how advanced they are. Because used to be you could always tell because they were carbon copies. You know, it would make 3 copies at once. I don't think they use that anymore. I think they print the tickets out digitally now on a device. But I would look into it. It could be. I didn't even think of that. It could be a prank. I would find out though. Deontay Wilder's a pretty good puncher. Blue Raspberry. He's an excellent puncher. But I think if you look at Foreman in his heyday, Shavers in his heyday, they were scary. They really were. They are done on a device. I thought so. Now look fun. Chrome says, well, here's the thing. It's only Mario Kart at 80. Oh, okay. Everything else is between 40 and 70. And Kart is a bundle with the system for only like 40 to 50 more. Oh, well, that's different then. I didn't realize that. I thought everything was going up to that price point. It could be Kart is there. And as you know, if I were to get that system, that would be the first game I want. So I'd have to buy it in the bundle to not get ripped off. Zuchen says, has anyone ever told you something that you believed until you found out it was not real or a lie? Sure, I think we all have. And Jeff just wrote, Shohei Ohtani's walk-off blast pushes Dodgers to historic 8-0. It's crazy. It's ridiculous how good that team is. It's nuts. All right, guys, I got to go. This was fun. This turned out to be a fun time. Hopefully we'll get everything working with GTA 5. Next stream will probably be Schedule 1, but it'll be Schedule 1 or Oblivion, and then the other one following that. And then we'll go back to GTA 5. We'll be right back. And if it doesn't play for us next time,
goodbye, everyone. Remember
our boy Plankton. I love that.
Look, man, it's been a real honor, homie. But I gotta move forward in my life.
I get you, Franklin.
That people tell me what to do and I do it and nothing changes.
I love this stuff. I do have a plan in place. If GTA 5 doesn't run well again, the time we stream it after that, I've got everything hooked up. That's when we'll break out the new mini PC I have on the desk here, and we'll run it on there and see what happens. We'll see if it's my PC that's having anything to do with it.
We'll bang, okay?
And we'll bang, okay? I'll never stop loving those videos. Those are some good times. Yeah, I hope it doesn't screw up again, Jill. Because that was fun. I was having a good time with that. I don't know that still don't know how the hell I'm going to get away from those cops unless I can find a tunnel or something. Or at least get into the hills while the helicopter's not there. Because I see the helicopter comes and goes. And then getting scolded by Deadpool.
It's over.
Always is the topper.
Go home.
But I'm going to have to find a way. Because usually I just hide in, I drive out in the country and I hide in the hills. But can't do that with a copter. All right, you guys. Again, thanks so much for hanging out with me in this. Thanks for being with me in the ill-fated GTA 5 stream as well. And I will talk to you guys again real soon.